This is a game that Magnus played against Alexander Flata in 2001, and Magnus was either 10 or 11 years old when he played this. So just have that in mind so you can be like super impressed. So Magnus had the white pieces, and we see this opening. He grabs some space, kicks the knight, fianchettos the bishop, and it looks kind of odd fianchettoing it behind this fixed pawn, but it's an okay move. Magnus grabs the space in the center. White owns the space here. Black tries to strike at the center. He knows that he needs a pawn break to get some counterplay. So he plays f5. White develops the knight. Black develops the knight. And what a move this is. It looks like just a sacrifice, but having your tactical vision switched on opens up the possibility to make moves that you never thought were safe before. Because what happens if black takes this pawn? Yep. Looks like Flamin' Oats is winning the vote, by the way. That's exciting. Yeah, Queen A for a check, exactly. Good job. Yeah, if the bishop takes, Queen A for a check wins the bishop, so he can't take. And because of this tactical vision that he's got, he's just, finding a nice space-grabbing move that he can actually play safely in spite of what it looks like. So that's pretty cool. And we see the trade. The knight goes to attack the bishop. Magnus castles. Black attacks the knight, so he goes and takes the bishop. Now Magnus has the bishop pair advantage and the space advantage, you could say. So that's pretty solid already. And what do you think Black wants to do? What is the idea behind this move? Might look kind of strange, but Black has an idea. Yep, exactly. Bishop to h3. That is the move because it's often a good idea to trade off the fianchettoed bishop because it's a key defender of the light squares. And when you fianchettoed, you've already moved the pawn to g3, which weakens the light squares. So this bishop is a key defender, and if it goes away, the light squares around the king are going to be weak. So that is a common attacking idea, and that's what black does. White makes the trade, and black decides to take first on g2. This is a nice in-between move, and he is attacking the rook, so white has to deal with that first. And then black takes back, and now find a good strategic move in this position. White to move here. Just a nice, easy, improving move.
I think they're busy voting.
Oh, there we go. Good job, Vihan. Yep. Knight to e4, exactly. Yep. That's the move that Magnus played. And this is really nice because this is basically an outpost. Like, no pawn can really attack this knight anytime soon. This pawn doesn't exist, and this pawn is blocked completely, so it's fine. The knight's going to be able to stay there for quite a while. The rook moves back, and now black attacks the knight. So what would you play here? Like, if this was your game, would you move the knight away in this position, or would you do something else? That's a good point. Yeah, that's right, Oliver. Magnus probably does have an unfair advantage in knowing what Magnus would do. F3 is interesting. I'm actually curious how good that is now. Yeah, so the move that Magnus played is queen to e2, and the engine likes f3 just fine, likes rook to e1 just fine. But yeah, the key thing is you don't necessarily want to move the knight away. Like here, this is not so good because the knight is so well placed. You don't necessarily have to move it away. You can just support it with one of your pieces and keep it on this awesome square, keep it nice and strong, and that's what Magnus does. So That's what you want to do. You don't want to just automatically retreat your piece. You want to keep it there when you have the chance. And what about here? Would you move the knight away in this position? Or is there another thing that you can do? Yep, f3 is a solid option. So too is moving over one of the rooks, either one. And that is what Magnus did. He is not backing down with the knight. He is just defending it and strengthening it by putting more pieces to defend it. And this is an important idea. You don't want to just automatically retreat whenever you get attacked. You want to always look to stay active and aggressive instead. So black takes, white takes, and wow, what a move this is. Sacrificing the rook. If white takes the rook, then what happens? And bear in mind, this was not even Magnus who played this move. This was his opponent. So his opponent definitely had his tactical vision switched on. Yeah, exactly. Well done, David. Yep, knight f4, that's the move. If pawn takes, that opens up the f4 square to be used by the knight, and black would be winning the queen. So in some cases in chess, you might have more safe moves than you realize. You just need to scan for tactics. So don't ignore a move just because it's a sacrifice. You want to look at what you can do afterward. And if it also helps if the sacrifice also serves a positional purpose. Like b4 in the opening gained space when it was attacking the bishop, and rook to h4 threatened queen to h3. So tactics can allow you to make sacrifices with a good positional purpose. So Magnus did not fall for that. He plays this move, and it's a very good move. He's opening up the queen's future defense of h2 once black invades. So that's what happened. Yeah, this move, f3, queen to h3 by black. And this is a scary move, but it's actually incorrect. White is now better. Like it was equal if you throw on the engine, but now white is better. This was the point of f3. The queen defends, and now black has no threats. The attack is kind of coming to nothing at this point, even though it looks pretty scary. The rook just has to retreat. Knight to e6. The knight continues to be a super knight, backed up by the pawn in a great position. And Magnus's pressure is decisive here because black has blundered. Find me white's move in this position. That's the move. That's the move Magnus played. And sometimes just making a simple threat is enough to cause your opponent to blunder. Like this move would have actually defended the pawn better, even though it looks passive. This move is trying to stay aggressive, but it blunders the exchange after knight to g5. So just simply making a threat can cause a blunder. So knight takes, queen takes, rook improves, rook moves, queen up, queen over. And how does white make progress here? Who can find me a nice move for Magnus? Because he has an advantage. He's up the exchange, but he doesn't have a passed pawn. He doesn't have an attack. It's not like super easy to break through, but he does have a great plan that he can use. Have not seen it yet. Kind of a difficult one to find, I think. I'll give you a hint. Look for a way you can sacrifice something, but then immediately get it back with some positional interest. Good, Oliver. Good job. Yep. D6 is the move. You're sacrificing a pawn, but you're going to get it back immediately because when black takes, you play this nice move, queen d5 check. You're crashing through. You're going to get it back immediately. If black trades queens, it's pretty much game over. You've got a nice advantage. Black avoids the trade, as he should, but now white gets complete domination on the back rank. The knight blocks because he doesn't want to trade queens. The rook comes in, the king goes over to defend. This rook comes,